You're doing the food swaps. You're avoiding the sugar. You're trying to support autophagy, but you're still not seeing the results you expected. You're doing everything right, yet your energy is low. Your cravings keep showing up, and the scale doesn't seem to be moving. Why? Because your body doesn't just care what you eat. It cares when you eat it. The same food can send a very different signal depending on the time of day. Today, I'm showing you the Circadian Autophagy Clock, a simple 24-hour schedule that helps your body move naturally between repair mode and fuel mode without extending your fast by a single extra minute. Let's walk through a full day and see exactly how it works. Here's the relationship most people never learn about. Your body runs on something called a circadian rhythm, an internal clock that doesn't just control when you feel sleepy or alert. It also determines when your cells are leaning toward repair and when they're leaning toward fuel processing. Both processes run constantly throughout the day, but your body shifts which one gets priority based on the time and whether you've recently eaten. Think of your body like a restaurant. During business hours, deliveries arrive. Ingredients get unpacked. Meals get prepared. Customers get served. That's what's happening inside you every time you eat. Your body is actively processing incoming nutrients. But after closing time, something different happens. The kitchen gets cleaned. Equipment gets maintained. Supplies get reorganized. Preparation begins for tomorrow. That's the maintenance shift, the part of your biology responsible for clearing out damaged cellular components and keeping your internal machinery running well. Your circadian clock acts like the restaurant manager. It's constantly deciding whether the priority right now should be serving customers or running maintenance. And here's the problem almost nobody realizes they have. Many people never give their restaurant a proper closing time. They keep sending in late orders long after the kitchen should be cleaning up. A snack here, a just one bite there, a nightcap with something sweet in it. And when that happens, the maintenance crew never gets a clear, uninterrupted window to actually finish their work. So let's walk through the 3 zones of the Circadian Autophagy Clock and exactly how to work with this schedule instead of against it. Zone 1, the morning cleanup window. Picture your alarm going off. You wake up. Maybe you drink some water. Maybe you start making coffee. Here's what most people don't realize is happening in the background at that exact moment. Your body spent the entire night gradually shifting toward repair mode. While you were asleep, with no new food arriving, your internal maintenance crew has been working, clearing out damaged proteins, recycling dysfunctional cellular components, running the kind of deep cleanup that simply can't happen while the kitchen is actively serving customers. And the moment you eat, that cleanup process has to step aside to make room for digestion and nutrient processing. That's not a tragedy. Eating breakfast isn't some terrible mistake. But there's a meaningful difference between eating the second you open your eyes and giving your body a little extra runway first. This is what I call the insulin waiting room. Your body has been moving toward repair mode all night. Eating immediately after waking can interrupt that process before it's finished its most productive stretch. Give it a couple of hours instead, and you let the overnight cleanup cycle complete more of what it started. So what goes in this window? Water is the obvious first move. You've gone hours without it, and rehydrating supports basically everything else your body needs to do this morning. Black coffee works beautifully here too. Unsweetened tea as well. These are what I'd call quiet preparation activities. They don't send a strong signal that food has arrived. The kitchen barely notices them. The cleaning crew stays focused. Now creamers, sweetened coffee, juice, morning pastries. These are different. These are early customer orders. They pull staff away from cleaning and back into active food service before the maintenance shift is really done. This is usually where the coffee debate comes up, and I want to address it directly because most of the conversation around it is asking the wrong question. People tend to focus entirely on calories. Does this have calories? If not, it doesn't break my fast. But that's an incomplete way to think about it. The real question isn't whether something has calories. It's whether it sends a strong enough feeding signal to shift your body's priority away from cleanup and toward food processing. even if the calorie count is technically 0. Which brings us to the sweetener question, because I get asked about this constantly. What about stevia? What about monk fruit? Here's the honest answer. Both generally produce a much smaller metabolic response than sugar does. Several controlled studies comparing stevia, monk fruit, and sucrose-sweetened beverages have found that both produce little to no measurable change in blood glucose or insulin compared to sugar. Monk fruit in particular shows very consistent results, while stevia's profile is similarly modest, though results vary slightly across studies. That said, individual responses can vary, and for truly maximizing this cleanup window, plain water and black coffee remain the simplest approach. So if you're someone who genuinely can't get through your morning without a little sweetness in your coffee, these are reasonable choices that won't meaningfully disrupt what's happening. But if your specific goal is maximizing this particular window, getting every bit of value out of the overnight cleanup before it winds down, water, black coffee, and unsweetened tea remain the simplest, cleanest options. No need to overcomplicate it beyond that. Once this cleanup window winds down, it's time to move into the body's most efficient fueling period. Zone 2, the prime fuel window. Somewhere around midday, for most people roughly between noon and 4 in the afternoon, something shifts in your underlying physiology. This is where the concept of metabolic flexibility becomes useful. Metabolic flexibility describes your body's ability to smoothly switch between different fuel sources and different metabolic priorities depending on what's available and what time it is. And during this midday window, roughly noon to early afternoon, your insulin sensitivity is still relatively strong, certainly better than it will be later in the evening, which means your body is genuinely more efficient right now at taking whatever you eat and actually putting it to good use, supporting recovery, supporting muscle maintenance, supporting the rebuilding work your cells do once the cleanup phase has finished clearing out the damaged material. Translate that back to the restaurant. This is peak business hours. The kitchen is fully staffed. The workflow is organized. Whatever ingredients come through the door right now get used efficiently, without waste, without bottlenecks. So this is genuinely the window where I'd encourage you to prioritize your most nutrient-dense meal of the day. What goes here? On the protein side, tempeh, lentils, beans, tofu, and if you're not vegan, something like Greek yogurt fits well too. For healthy fats, walnuts, hemp hearts, pumpkin seeds, and rounding it out, broccoli sprouts, leafy greens, a colorful mix of vegetables. Picture a bowl built around tempeh, a generous handful of greens, a sprinkle of hemp hearts, and some chopped walnuts on top. That single bowl is doing something elegant biologically. It's acting as the bridge between the repair mode your body was just in and the fuel mode it's stepping into right now, giving your cells exactly the kind of building material they need at the precise moment they're best equipped to use it. If you want a simple way to visualize what's happening internally during this window, picture a balance scale. As this meal arrives, the maintenance-focused activity naturally eases back, while the fuel processing activity ramps up to take the lead. Not because one system shuts off and the other switches on like a light switch. It's more like the kitchen smoothly shifting its attention from quiet maintenance tasks to handling the lunch rush, because that's simply the priority right now. If there's one meal in your entire day to genuinely prioritize, make it this one. This is where your body receives the bulk of what it needs for maintenance, for rebuilding, for actual physical recovery. Now comes the part almost everyone overlooks. The few hours before bed. Zone 3, the sunset shutdown. I hear about this constantly in the comments, the late-night snacking question. The "I do everything right all day and then completely fall apart at 9 p.m. confession." And honestly, it's one of the biggest reasons people struggle to ever create a consistent, productive overnight repair window. Here's the analogy that makes this click for most people. Every restaurant has a last call, not because the staff secretly hates serving customers, but because the kitchen genuinely needs time to clean up, reorganize, and prepare for tomorrow before everyone goes home. Your body runs on the exact same logic. When food keeps arriving late into the evening, when the kitchen never gets a clear signal that the dinner rush is officially over, your body receives mixed messages about whether it should keep prioritizing fuel processing or finally shift its attention toward repair. So what does this zone actually look like in practice? Roughly somewhere between 6 and 8 in the evening, prepare your final meal of the day. This isn't about eating less. It's about eating with a clear stopping point in mind. Best choices here: protein-rich foods, a solid serving of vegetables, moderate healthy fats. Picture a simple plate, a protein source, a generous portion of vegetables, nothing overly complicated. What you'll want to limit: desserts, sugary snacks, and large meals stacked late into the night. Not because dessert is forbidden forever, but because consistently extending big, sugar-heavy meals deep into the evening keeps pushing back the moment your body can actually start its overnight maintenance work. And I want to be really clear about something here, because this part matters. This isn't about restriction. It's about creating a clear runway. Your body needs a defined stretch of uninterrupted time to run its deepest cellular maintenance, and that maintenance work happens far more efficiently when it isn't competing with active digestion. There's also a sleep connection here that's worth understanding. Eating significantly later into the evening tends to push back the natural transition your body makes into its nighttime maintenance cycle, which can mean your repair window doesn't really get going until later than it should, cutting into time your body would otherwise spend on deep cellular cleanup while you sleep. So winding down your eating a bit earlier isn't a punishment. It's simply giving your kitchen a clean handoff into its overnight shift. And that brings us to the complete Circadian Autophagy Clock. Here's the entire 24-hour cycle in one place. The morning cleanup window, water, black coffee, unsweetened tea. A little extra time before that first meal, letting the overnight repair cycle finish what it started. The prime fuel window sometime around midday into the early afternoon. Protein, fiber, healthy fats. This is your most nutrient-dense meal, the one meal worth prioritizing above all others. And the sunset shutdown, roughly 6 to 8 in the evening. An earlier, well-rounded final meal. Protein and vegetables. A clear stopping point that gives your body a genuine runway into its overnight maintenance shift. Here's the idea I want you to leave with today. Autophagy isn't only about fasting longer, it's also about creating clear periods for fueling and clear periods for repair, and respecting the boundary between them. Sometimes the biggest improvement you can make isn't changing what you're eating at all. It's simply putting the right foods in the right part of your day. So, here's what I want you to do tomorrow morning. Don't change your entire day, just protect the morning cleanup window. Water first, black coffee if you want it, and push your first meal back by just 1 hour, maybe 2 if you're already close. That's it. That's your starting point, because metabolic flexibility isn't built by doing everything perfectly all at once. It's built one small shift at a time, repeated consistently until your body remembers how to do what it was always designed to do. Now, which of these 3 zones is hardest for you right now? The morning cleanup window, the midday fuel window, or the sunset shutdown? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one, and your struggles shape what I cover next. And if you want the complete grocery list mapped to this 24-hour clock, every specific food organized by zone, let me know in the comments, and I'll build that video next. Subscribe if you haven't already. This channel exists to make longevity science simple, usable, and actually sustainable. Stay close.